Hey, Louis Petalico here on behalf of the Constitutional Organization of Liberty with another tutorial on the U.S. Constitution. Hey, did you know that the Bill of Rights was not a part of the original Constitution? Very, very true. The fact of the matter is, in 1787, when the Founding Fathers drafted the Constitution, the Bill of Rights was not an issue until it came time for ratification. It was at that point when people like George Mason and Patrick Henry said, hey, we should have a Bill of Rights included with the Constitution to ensure the rights of the people and of individuals and of the states against any encroaching powers by the federal government. Now, people like James Madison and Alexander Hamilton had some reservations about it. Hamilton felt that if he included a Bill of Rights, that would allow the opportunity to occur down the road for some unscrupulous individuals or politicians to argue that, hey, if there is no Bill of Rights that gives you XYZ rights, then it isn't included in all of your rights, and they don't count. James Madison took a different approach. He argued that, look, the U.S. Constitution is a document of designated powers. In other words, if the federal government doesn't have a specific power to do something, then it can't do it. Unfortunately, James Madison had not met any of the politicians that we've become familiar with in the 20th and 21st century. Be that as it may, it got to the point with the ratification conventions in the different states that there were agreements made to ratify the U.S. Constitution with the understanding that amendments would be forthcoming. In fact, there were about 350 proposed amendments that percolated to the surface from the state conventions. James Madison took it upon himself to take all 350 of those different proposals, synthesize them down into 12, and then take those 12 and presented them to the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives reviewed them, made some changes, approved them, sent them to the Senate. The Senate did the same thing, reviewed them, made some changes, and approved them. Eventually, it led to a joint committee between the House and the Senate, and they came to an agreement as to what those 12 amendments should be. Those 12 amendments were then sent to the different states for ratification, and of the 12, 10 were ratified. Those 10 became what we know the Bill of Rights. Now, the interesting thing is that even though all 12 were not ratified at that time, their influence in our world still continued. The fact of the matter is, in the 1990s, there was a bit of a scandal in Washington, D.C. involving congressional pay raises. And someone came along and said, you know what? One of these amendments that was originally drafted by James Madison was never ratified. Well, guess what? It got ratified in the 1990s and became the 27th Amendment. This has been Louis Petalico with another tutorial on behalf of the Constitutional Organization of Liberty. We'll see you next time.